Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The movie begins with a young man named Cameron who works at an ice cream shop. One day, he wakes up to find Diana next to him. They promise each other never to abandon one another forever. Suddenly, Cameron wakes up and realizes it was all a dream. Later, his father tells him he wants him to stay with them to figure out what he will do with his life and future career. His mother, however, insists they should not pressure him and let him take his time. But his father gives him only 3 weeks to think of something useful to do. At the ice cream shop where Cameron works, the assistant manager, Lenny, scolds him for being late and tells him he will have to close the shop himself that day. Cameron explains he can't stay late because he has an appointment with Diana. Lenny doesn't believe him and mocks the idea, doubting Cameron even knows Diana. Meanwhile, a strange woman named Victoria appears standing in front of the neighbor's house. After Cameron finishes work, his colleague complains about having to close the shop late because of it. She asks if he really has an appointment with Diana or if he's lying. He assures her he has known Diana for a long time. They used to talk a lot and they share a strong bond. On his way home, Cameron passes by Diana sitting alone in front of her house. Suddenly, Jason and Chad appear and accuse him of taking pictures of her without her permission. They take his phone and throw it away. Diana intervenes before a fight breaks out and asks what is going on. Chad claims they saw Cameron taking pictures of her without her consent. Cameron denies it and goes to retrieve his phone to prove his innocence, but a passing car runs over it, breaking it. Diana diffuses the situation, asking Jason and his friend to leave. Cameron also leaves and heads home. That night, Cameron sees Victoria at the neighbor's house and realizes she notices him watching her through the window. Later, his father finds out about the broken phone and refuses to buy him a new one, saying he should have stood up for himself. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Cameron checks the door camera and sees Victoria. Becoming terrified, she might tell his father he was spying on her. But when he opens the door, he finds Diana instead. Surprised, he asks her about Victoria, but she claims she hasn't seen anyone and doesn't know who he's talking about. They go to a restaurant for dinner, where Diana apologizes for his phone being broken because of her. At that moment, Cameron spots his friend Martin from afar. Diana tries to stop him from calling Martin over, but he doesn't listen. When Martin joins them, he becomes nervous talking to Diana and quickly leaves. Diana becomes upset with Cameron, who apologizes, not understanding what he did wrong. She explains that Martin was her friend but abandoned her during her graduation party, and she still doesn't know why he did that. To comfort her, Cameron assures her that if he were her friend, he would never abandon her. They continue talking for a while, but suddenly, Victoria appears in the hallway near the house in a strange manner. Cameron quickly excuses himself from Diana and runs to his room. He looks out the window at Victoria, who is staring back at it. Frightened, he closes the window quickly. When he looks again, he finds her inside his room. Terrified, he apologizes for spying on her through the window, explaining he was used to seeing Miss Carpenter in the apartment but hasn't seen her for a while. Victoria tells him she will stay in her house for a few weeks before leaving. Cameron asks her to leave before anyone sees her, but she threatens to tell his father unless he drives her around the city. Afraid, he agrees and drives her around. Eventually, she stops him, takes his car keys, and tells him to wait until she returns. She enters a building where a man welcomes her. When she takes too long, Cameron gets out of the car to check on her and peeks through the window, witnessing something shocking. He rushes back to his car, but a man emerges from the building, bleeding profusely and begging Cameron for help. The man leaves bloodstains on the car window. Suddenly, Victoria appears behind the man, bites his neck, and kills him. She gets into the car with Cameron, who is horrified by what he just witnessed. It becomes clear that Victoria is a vampire. She tells Cameron that he must accompany her wherever she goes, or she will kill him. After they return home, she tells him he must trust her and then leaves. The next day, Cameron's father notices blood on the car and asks him about it. Victoria arrives at that moment and explains that Cameron hit a deer on the road. She also tells his father she knows Cameron hasn't paid his car insurance and offers to pay it all if he drives her to her destinations every day. Cameron protests, but his father sees no problem with it. Later, Martin approaches Cameron, asking him to reconcile with Diana because he doesn't know how to handle the situation. Martin then goes to Diana, asking for forgiveness and another chance. That night, Cameron takes Victoria to another location and waits in the car for her return. After some time, he sees a body being thrown near the car, leaving him shocked and unsure of what to do. Victoria returns to the car with blood on her hands, drinking it. Before they return home, she makes Cameron thoroughly clean the car of blood. At home, Cameron is terrified. While in bed, he finds Victoria next to him. She tells him why she's in the city. She reveals she is 247 years old, and in 1890, a group of vampires killed her lover because he refused to join them. And you know that a large number of that group traveled to America, and only a few of them remain in this city. She came to take revenge on them and kill them. When Cameron finds out that the ones she's killing aren't human, he tells her she should have told him from the start and informed him. One day, Lenny sees Cameron sitting alone with Diana in a restaurant and can't believe what he's seeing. On the same night, Cameron asks Victoria how many people in the city she's supposed to kill. She tells him there's one she'll finish off tonight and another one she hasn't found yet. This one is the one who killed her lover and is the leader leader of the group. She promises him that she'll kill him in a brutal way and make him suffer before he dies. They arrive at the location, and Victoria asks him to wait for her in the car as always, but Cameron insists on going with her this time. He enters the building with her. At that moment, Victoria goes to eliminate her target. When the man sees Cameron, he shoots him from a distance, causing him to fall to the ground. Victoria attacks the man, bites his neck, and kills him. Afterward, she checks on Cameron, who tells her he was pretending to be hit by the bullet to distract the vampire. She warns him that he must listen to her, as he could have died. Before they part ways, he tells her he can't go anywhere with her tomorrow because he has an appointment with his friend Martin and Diana. She agrees and tells him it's no problem. The next day, Liz invites him to a musical concert because her friends are performing in it. Cameron refuses, saying he's very busy these days. Later, we see Cameron sitting in a restaurant with Martin and Diana. They reminisce about college days, and he jokes about how Martin was terrible at baseball. At one point, Diana excuses herself to go to the bathroom. After she leaves, Victoria arrives, takes Cameron, and leaves. Victoria asks him who was sitting with them, and he tells her it was Diana, whom he's loved for a long time since the first time he saw her in college. When she asks about Martin, he tells her that Martin is his friend, who loves Diana just as much as he does. Martin is with them because they had a falling out, and he's helping reconcile them. Victoria is very surprised by his words and doesn't understand his personality. He tells her that Diana will spend some time with Martin, after which she'll discover how boring he is and leave him again. While they're in the car together, Cameron points out Chad and Jason and tells her they always bother him and beat him up whenever they see him, and he doesn't know how to deal with them. Victoria gets out of the car, goes to them, and insults them. Chad refuses to hit her and instead goes to Cameron, continuing to beat him up while Cameron doesn't even defend himself. Victoria goes to him and tells him to attack Chad and quickly punch him in the ribs. He does so, managing to knock Chad to the ground and defeat him. Afterward, Jason helps his friend up, and they leave. Cameron and Victoria get into the car and drive off. He tells her his finger is broken and he's in a lot of pain. Victoria gives him a small bottle and tells him to drink what's inside. After drinking it, Cameron realizes it's her blood and becomes very scared. He asks her if he's going to turn into a vampire like her, but she tells him no. Her blood only helps him heal quickly, nothing more. That night, he dreams of Diana, but Victoria appears next to him in the room. At that moment, his father enters the room, sees Victoria next to him, closes the door, and leaves. Victoria tries to get closer to Cameron, but he refuses, telling her he could never betray Diana. If he doesn't marry Diana, he'll find someone else, but not her. Victoria is deeply hurt by his words and feels very foolish. Another day, Cameron meets Martin, who is very upset and tells him he wants to get back with Diana because he can't live without her. Cameron tells him that the relationship between him and Diana should have ended a long time ago because it shouldn't have started in the first place. Victoria goes to Diana's clothing store and meets her there. At the same time, Cameron is with Liz and senses that she likes him. He tells her that from now on, he'll take better care of himself and accepts her invitation to her friend's concert. Liz is very happy about this, especially since he accepted her invitation. That night, Cameron prepares himself to meet Liz. As he's leaving the house and about to get into his car, he sees Diana's car parked in front of Victoria's house. He becomes curious and decides to find out what's going on. He sneaks up to the house and looks through the window, seeing them sitting together. Meanwhile, Liz is waiting for him at the concert and doesn't know how to reach him. The next day, Cameron sees Diana leaving Victoria's house, getting into her car, and driving off. He then confronts Victoria, upset with her, and tells her he won't continue with her anymore and won't take her anywhere in his car. She attacks him, telling him he'll do everything she says. The next day, he meets his friend Martin, who is very sad, and tells him he wants to get back with Diana because he can't live without her. Later, Cameron goes to work and tells Lenny that he'll go on a quick errand with the car and return soon. As he's about to get into the car, Liz calls out to him, very upset because he didn't show up at the concert as he said he would. She slaps him and pushes him to the ground. Afterward, Cameron goes to Diana's clothing store and tells her that Martin wants to meet her, apologize, and rekindle their relationship. On the same day, his mother gives him a new phone, telling him not to tell his father about it and to keep it a secret between them. Cameron is very happy and thanks her. Martin meets Cameron and tells him he doesn't know what to say to Diana when he sees her. Cameron tells him to wear an earpiece and he'll tell him what to say. If Diana asks about the earpiece, he should say he's waiting for an important call from the baseball team he plays for. Martin goes to meet Diana and says everything Cameron tells him to say. Both of them are very happy together. Afterward, Diana gives Martin her car keys, telling him to drive and take them wherever he wants. Cameron tells him to take her to his house, but Martin refuses and decides to go somewhere else. Cameron gets angry at him for not listening and decides to follow them in his car. Martin stops the car, and at the same time, Cameron arrives at the location, hiding behind a tree to see what happens. At that moment, Diana removes the earpiece from Martin's ear and throws it on the ground, revealing that she knew all along that Cameron was feeding Martin the lines and that he was watching them from behind the tree. At that moment, Diana bites Martin's neck, and Cameron realizes she's a vampire. He can't believe what he's seeing and runs away from the scene in shock. Cameron goes to the ice cream shop where he works and asks about Liz. Lenny tells him he doesn't know her whereabouts. Cameron leaves the shop and finds Diana in front of him. He tells her to stay away from him because she killed his friend. She tells him that Martin is still alive and didn't die. She takes him and opens the car trunk, revealing Martin unconscious inside. She explains that she bit him to give him strength and make him the best player on the baseball team. Cameron accuses her of betraying him all these past years and not telling him the truth about herself. She responds that she tried to tell him before but couldn't. He asks her why she waited so long, and she says she was afraid he would reject her and treat her badly. At that moment, she confesses that she has loved him since the first day she saw him. Cameron struggles to process what he's hearing. She also tells him that she didn't want to love him or get involved with any humans because everyone she cared about and loved ended up dying. She explains that she kept her distance because she was sure it wouldn't work out due to her nature being different from humans. Meanwhile, Lenny is observing them and overhears everything Diana says to Cameron. Later that same night, Victoria meets Cameron and tells him that she didn't know Diana was a vampire. When she found out, she didn't tell him to avoid shocking him since he wouldn't believe her. She reveals that the vampire he's been searching for all this time and wants to kill is Diana. She tells him she will take him hostage until Diana comes to rescue him. At that moment, Diana arrives at the house. Suddenly, Lenny confronts her and says he knows her true nature and will expose her to everyone. Diana gets angry, attacks it, and drinks his blood. Afterwards, she and Martin break into the house, leading to a fight between her and Victoria. Diana initially loses the fight, but Cameron intervenes and saves her. Victoria grabs a knife and attacks Diana, but it doesn't harm her. Diana then strikes Victoria, throws her to the ground, and tells her she needs to listen to the whole story to understand what really happened a century ago. Diana explains that their leader was a very evil person, and all she ever wanted was to escape and get away from him. When she met Victoria's lover, she told him she wanted to run away. He promised to save her and gave her some of his blood. When the leader found out what happened, he killed Victoria's lover. Upon hearing this, Victoria apologizes to Diana because she wasn't responsible for her lover's death. She's happy to have found someone kind like Diana and expresses her wish for them to live together in peace in the future. They all bid farewell. Diana tells Cameron that she has to leave so he can live his life. She and the others get in the car and leave him alone. The next day, Cameron tells his parents that he wants to become a famous writer and will focus on writing vampire stories. He then goes to the ice cream shop and meets Liz. He apologizes to her and explains everything that happened recently. Liz doesn't believe a word he says but accepts his apology and decides to continue being with him. And with that, we reach the end of the movie. Thank